That's correct.
You just testified, I would not classify this as a suicide, right?
That's correct.
Are you permitted by law to opine or certify cause and manner of death?
I am not.
As a medical legal death investigator, right?
Correct.
Are you a medical examiner?
I am not.
There's a big difference between you and a medical examiner, right?
There is.
All right. That will take us to your qualifications. Do you hold a college degree?
I do not.
Do you hold a medical degree from an accredited university of any type?
I do not.
Do you hold a law enforcement certificate?
I do not.
So if somebody were to casually refer to you as the medical examiner, that would be totally inaccurate, right?
By current statute, that would be correct.
By the way the law is currently written, that would be correct?
That would be correct.
Do you have specific training in forensic pathology?
I do not.
All right. You taught some, and again, I was handed your CV walking in here, so I haven't had a lot of time to spend with it, but you alluded to some training that you have about staged homicides.
That's correct.
Where was that training? When was it? Give me all the details you can.
So I work with a group of experts from around the country where we review cases for evidence of staged deaths.
Is that this missed and misdiagnosed homicide multidisciplinary working group I see on your CV?
That is correct.
So what does that exist under? Is that part of some government agency or what?
No, it's a group of medical and forensic experts.
So just people who talk about things together?
Yeah, we review cases. For abnormalities or red flags and review those.
Who is it supervised by?
It's supervised by Andrea Zafaris.
Who?
Andrea Zafaris.
That's a person?
That is.
Okay.
Yep. She is also a medical legal death expert or medical legal death investigator and forensic and asphyxiation expert.
Is she a licensed doctor?
She is not.
Okay. So that's the group you sit with, this national group you referenced, but my question actually to begin us on this topic was about your training. Where did you get training on staged homicides?
Through the training through the state, as well as conferences that I've attended, both through Oregon and around the country.
Okay, so we've all been to professional conferences where you kind of go to different talks and topics. So you went to a talk or two at some different trainings about staged homicides?
That's correct.
And then you mentioned the state certification, which I think you outlined in your original testimony as being a 40-hour class and then a year of on-the-job training?
That's correct.
How many of those 40 hours were dedicated to staged homicide determinations?
Maybe an hour and a half.
Okay. Is there some other large piece of training in staged homicides that we have not covered that you possess?
No, just training and experience.
Okay, the defense attorney going after the credentials of this individual who has a lot to say. I don't know how you're going to really argue his credentials when you're talking about facts in terms of the x-rays, the fact of where that bullet was.
Corroborated by the medical examiner, Dr. Hurst.
Yeah. Let's bring in our guest to give us a little insight here from Denver, Colorado, criminal defense attorney Colleen Kelley. This is a weird case. Colleen, family thought it was suicide. She was suicidal. The person at the weed store, even reported it, saying this woman is suicidal. They find her dead. What's your overall take, and what stands out?
Well, that is my overall take, that this is a very strange case. And initially, the judge asked the question that I've been asking, right? That clarification that there's a bullet inside her abdominal cavity, and how that got there. It wasn't swallowed. It was, they're inserted after death. But certainly this is the expert that they've brought forward to say this was definitely not a suicide. And so the defense attorney obviously has to attack his credentials and to show that he's not necessarily qualified to make that determination about whether this was a suicide, whether this was a homicide, whether this was an accident or natural causes. But certainly his observations have to be respected. He is trained in that regard.
Certainly, and let's talk about the fact that we're not in a trial. We're not with a jury with beyond a reasonable doubt. This is a bond hearing. What are the different levels when we have this in front of a judge trying to get an idea of how to move forward with this case?
Right. And I think I heard you comment earlier that you don't generally cover bond hearings. It's because they're frankly generally boring. They address whether the person is a flight risk and whether they're a danger to the community. Now, this is a different case because it's a homicide case. What they're doing here is they are having basically a mini trial to see if there is proof evident presumption great. That's the standard in Colorado, and I think it's the same standard in Oregon, where they are trying to argue that this person that he should be denied bond because the evidence is so great against him. So that's why they're going into these details about the manner of death, the circumstances surrounding finding the body, and then connecting it to the defendant.
Absolutely. And the part of the equation, I'm sure, for the judge is also the significant manner of the evidence in terms of the depravity, possibly, and the bullet. If the judge was questioning this expert, because to your point, as soon as he asked the question, I was thinking, yes, thank you.
Yeah, he seemed to be hung up on it. He was shaking his head even after getting the answer.
So now the odds of the judge, who we watched him in real time, absorb the information, shake his head, and realize, oh, God, I don't think this guy's getting out on bond.
Yeah, probably at this point.
What do you think?
Well, those are the reasons why a judge would deny bond. And remember, the right to bond out, the right to bail, is generally thought of as a constitutional right because you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. So that's why they have this different type of bond hearing in these circumstances. And if the judge finds that there is proof and a greater presumption that he did commit these crimes, then you can see why a judge would deny letting this person out on the street. Because if you are someone who would do something like this, regardless of the presumption of innocence, the judge is going to presume that he's a danger to the community.
Colleen Kelley, thank you so much for that analysis. We're going to get to a break. When we come back, we'll have more of the bond hearing, but also we get a live report from Matt Johnson. He's been monitoring everything that's happening out in Utah on the Charlie Kirk suspect who was arrested today. Tyler Robinson, stay with us. More ahead.
These are the cases that captivated the world.
Couldn't keep my life straight.
They were killed by their own children.
That challenged the legal system and ourselves. Court TV, Legendary Trials.
I have always been someone who cares about the truth and getting the accurate information, and I think we've been able to uncover some pretty serious things.
I mean, do you feel safe at school? How big of an issue is this?
Scripps News supports one of the most important things that I care about, which is ethics.
Is that acceptable?
Ethics, accuracy, and truth are the key points, and if there is something dark that needs to be brought to light, that's what we do best.
Lori Jane Gliha, Scripps News.
For live reports, breaking news, and headlines from across the country, stream Scripps News.
You got us banned from being room parents? I have never been more in love with you.
Who wants to go nuts for donuts?
Show him your folding trick.
I'm not in the mood for your sheet right now.
That's gotta hurt, huh?
You keep me coming back for more.
How prepared is your family if disaster shows up at your doorstep? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan before they show up. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes!
Make a plan today.
Jesse Palmer.
Emmett Smith?
Both of us together? This must be some kind of TV fantasy.
Nope, it's reality.
Tableau reality. Tableau lets you watch, pause, and record live TV subscription-free.
Pause you, Jesse. I'm here for 100+ channels. News, reality, movies, free live sports. Plus, it's game time.
Tableau. It's not fantasy, it's reality.
And a smart play.
Learn more at TableauTV.com.
The MVP of TV.
You and I are going for a long ride.
Might be dangerous. You talk me into it.
All right. Start talking.
Ready. I'll leave that up to Nate.
I didn't hear anybody knock. This mask stands for justice.
How about the next clap of thunder?
That answer your question?
Are you still alive?
You didn't exactly turn your back.
I'll be back.
Remember the 1970s? The radio had a dial. Changing the channel on the TV was a job. A lot has changed. But one thing has not changed: Washington's regulations on local stations. Regulations that make it tough for local TV and radio stations to compete with global big tech platforms. If you want to keep local news and live sports on TV and radio, we need updated regulations. Tell Washington to modernize the rules to help local stations compete. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Two hands can move a mountain. Two more and you can move the earth. I got you now, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no. I can try a little harder. Guess together we're strong enough. But let everybody know that we're never giving up. Try a little harder.
Ion, it's on. Wherever you watch.
We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident.
All right, we're going to turn our attention to Utah and the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Authorities have now, if you haven't heard, a suspect is in custody. 22-year-old from Utah. His name is Tyler Robinson.
And joining us now in studio with the latest is Court TV crime and justice correspondent Matt Johnson, who's been following this. Matt, tell us what the latest is that we know about this suspect.
Wow, this case, new developments every hour as it seems, and a lot of evidence, including engravings on bullets and the alleged confession to a friend. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, right here, here's his booking photo, was arrested last night for the murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Kirk gunned down as he spoke at an event on a college campus. This happened on Wednesday at the Utah Valley University, just south of Salt Lake City. Authorities saying that he confessed to a friend after the shooting. Listen to this.
On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th.
Also being reported that Robinson, the suspect, also told family that he disagreed with the victim's viewpoints and that he recently, according to them, became a lot more political in nature.
Take us through the process. What comes next?
All right, we are waiting for a court date, but police do not believe that he acted with anybody else. They are not searching for anyone right now, according to that news conference. They have a lot of evidence, including this, an alleged confession, surveillance video of the suspect jumping off the roof, the believed murder weapon, a rifle found in a wooded area, a shoe impression, and messages from a chatting app between the accused shooter and his roommate, plus disturbing messages written on bullet casings.
Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this question mark?" Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" ! Catch! Up arrow symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Ciao Ciao," and a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
Eerie similarities to the Luigi Mangione case out of New York with subscriptions or, things written on bullet casings, rather. He is expected to be charged with this, aggravated murder and obstruction of justice. Court date not yet set. We'll share that with you as soon as we get those details. And it's still unclear if the state or federal prosecutors, if they get involved, will be seeking the death penalty. Ted, Julia?
Matt Johnson, thank you for that report and update. Let's bring back in criminal defense attorney Colleen Kelley, an attorney who is just following this news with us. Colleen, this has been really difficult to watch play out, especially for young people who were supporters of Charlie Kirk, who watched this happen there at the Utah State Valley University, and then to know that this defendant is a 22-year-old. Can you talk about the age impact on this case?
Well, I think that we've seen a lot of shootings, including school shootings, that involve very young people. And I'm talking about the shooter here. But obviously, I don't know that it matters what age you are. No one needs to watch that. And regardless of how you feel about someone's political views, you can't shoot them for it. So I think this is obviously tragic, and even more tragic that these people had to witness this. But I do think that it seems like they found the one who did it. There's significant evidence tying him to the shooting, and hopefully they'll uncover even more in the coming days.
Take us through the legal process in terms of, you've got the feds who are obviously involved, and they can easily make a case to come in and take jurisdiction through a terrorism, even just using the similarities to Mangione with the bullets. They could use it. They've got many tools to take this case. And then the state of Utah. Both avenues have, at the end of the day, the death penalty. What goes into that decision making, and who do you think is going to take the lead here? They did mention in that presser today that Erica, Charlie Kirk's wife, will be consulted and be part of this process in terms of determination. What's your take? What's your gut tell you on how it's going to proceed from here?
Generally, I think this is something that would be a federal case. That's usually when they step in, when it's a public figure, when it's a political figure, when it's something that so many people are exposed to and are watching. And frankly, they're going to have better resources and more resources to pursue this, to gather the evidence correctly, and have an airtight, nailed down case against this person. They want him in federal court, I think. That's what we're used to seeing anyway.
That confession that he made to his, seemingly either his parents or to a friend, and then it came to the parents, are there any questions about whether or not those will be able to come into court when you're looking at this from a legal standpoint? There's a lot of things that have been said, and we don't know if he's going to say the same thing to police. Do you even think they're going to get a chance to interrogate him, or is he immediately going to be given an attorney?
Well, the odd thing about this case is there's so many things, seemingly right now at least, that point to him wanting to be caught. He wasn't trying to get away. He's putting inscriptions on things, tying them back to him. He's messaging a friend about the plan, as far as how I'm following it. He's making a confession to people. This isn't someone who wants to get away with it. And when that happens, we usually don't see them requesting an attorney right away. They are happy to tell their story. So I'm not sure. I'm really excited. I'm interested to see if he requests an attorney. No one can force an attorney on you, but of course you have the right to remain silent. So in the coming days, I think that will come out.
Yeah, it's a good point. And there's a chance that he jumps off of that roof and he's like, wow, I can't believe I haven't been arrested yet, and then just kind of gets away with it. And the way that it played out, he was a free person for 33 hours, is how long it took. but you knew that they were going to get him. It was just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And a family member, in this case his wife Erica, how much power do they have in terms of a decision when we're talking about yes or no to the death penalty, typically in a case where that is being contemplated by prosecutors?
I think that depends, and I've seen it both ways. I've seen it where a family has pushed very hard for the death penalty when it used to be available in Colorado. It is no longer. But I've also seen prosecutors within the state of Colorado pursue the death penalty when the family was adamantly and vocally against it. And frankly, the particular case that I'm thinking about, the family opposed the death penalty because of their personal religious views. They did not believe that they wanted to be part of someone else's death after the tragic death of their family member. So no one has to leave the decision to the family, I guess is what I'll say. They're not going to leave that decision. They're going to make their decision ultimately on what they think is best for law enforcement, for the country. And frankly, I think to make people feel better about what happens when you are shooting someone for their political views. And frankly, the fact that it is increasing in late years, I think they do need to show force in cases like this.
Yeah, certainly this is one of those cases where a message will be sent. There's going to be a lot of pressure on all ends for that to take place because violence never the answer. And this has just been a really tough case to follow.
Yeah, and again, the political, it doesn't matter where you are on the political spectrum, universal disgust should be the reaction to this scenario that we saw play out in Utah. And we'll see, they have 3 days to file, expecting early next week, likely Monday, we'll get more information on where this is going, first court appearance, et cetera, et cetera. Let's get a break. When we come back to Oregon, more of this Gerard Norman bond hearing when we return.
Saturday nights on ION is our night. Let's go! Double headers every Saturday at 7 and 10 p.m. Eastern. The new Saturday Night Out is on ION all season long.
As an emergency room physician, I worked in level 1 trauma centers for years. I know what happens back there. One ambulance after another, with injured patients and lives that are changed forever. I understand. I took care of those people. Thank you. Now, as an attorney, my team and I care for the same people, but in a different way, working to get our clients' lives back to normal. If you've been injured, our medical and legal expertise provides a unique advantage. Ramos Law. What makes us different makes us better.
Mondays.
First you moved in, you banned cigar smoke and kitchen nudity.
Oscar Madison.
Just doing my daily yoga.
Felix Unger.
You're not exactly a guy's guy.
Why? Because I use coasters? I'm an accomplished photographer. Perfect, let's start shooting. And I can make a pair of tap shoes talk. What do you say, boys?
Together, they're the odd couple.
Here, hold that.
Oscar, is that coffee? I just cleaned the rug.
Better not move.
The Odd Couple, Mondays starting 7, 6 Central on Laugh More. Watch live TV for free. Meet Tablo. Access over 90 free channels, including popular shows, news, and live sports. Plus, you can record, pause, and replay. Always 0 monthly fees or contracts. Order a Tablo Total System at TabloTV.com or these popular retailers.
Remember the 1970s? The radio had a dial. Changing the channel on the TV was a job. A lot has changed. But one thing has not changed: Washington's regulations on local stations. Regulations that make it tough for local TV and radio stations to compete with global big tech platforms. If you want to keep local news and live sports on TV and radio, we need updated regulations. Tell Washington to modernize the rules to help local stations compete. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Two hands can move a mountain. Two more and you can move the earth. I got you now. I'm never gonna let you go. No, no. I can try a little harder. Guess together we're strong enough. But let everybody know that we're never giving up. Oh, try a little harder.
ION. It's on. Wherever you watch.
As a legal journalist, every time I step into the Supreme Court, I am always in awe.
In today's society, the law affects everyone. And that's why it's very important for people to be informed, especially when it comes to the law. I see it as a great responsibility to be able to parse out all of the information that may be wrong and bring the facts.
Avajoy Burnett, Scripps News.
For live reports, breaking news, and headlines from across the country, stream Scripps News.
You and I are going for a long ride.
Might be dangerous. You talk me into it.
All right. Start talking.
Ready. I'll leave that up to Nate.
I didn't hear anybody nod.
This mask stands for justice. How about the next clap of thunder?
May I answer your question?
Are you still alive? You didn't exactly turn your back. I'll be back.
These are the cases that captivated the world.
Can keep my life straight. They were killed by their own children.
That challenged the legal system and ourselves. Court TV Legendary Trials.
How prepared is your family if disaster shows up at your doorstep? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan before they show up. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes!
Make a plan today.
All right, let's head back to Oregon now for more of the unspent bullet murder case. The defendant here, Gerard Norman, is accused of killing his girlfriend, Mariah King, last year.
This is one of those cases where authorities initially believed that she had died by suicide and that this was a hanging, but the case took a bizarre turn after the medical examiner who performed the autopsy found an unspent bullet in the victim's stomach. It's really strange. They believed that it was put there after she died.
It wasn't in the stomach.
Right,
it was in the
abdominal
cavity, but it got there through the vaginal wall after she was dead.
Even the judge couldn't figure out how this happened and was asking this death investigator who's on the stand. We're going to pick it up with more questions for this death investigator. This is a bond hearing, so this is not a full-on trial in front of a jury, but this is to give the judge as much information about this.
How many people touched, moved, manipulated, or any other way messed around with that rope between the time this was called in and when you got there?
I have no honest way to know that. There was emergency personnel there, law enforcement was there.
Right, so there's a lot of stuff going on, and so...
That's correct.
The fact that when you arrived, there was not a knot in the rope tells us what about how the rope was when this happened?
It just tells me what it was when I was there. I don't know what it was like prior to that.
Okay. Staying with that time period, when you were going through some of the photos, you talked to the judge about lividity, and the judge asked you a few follow-up questions about that. And you talked about how, if I understood your testimony correctly, that the fact that there was not lividity down in her lower extremities means that she wasn't ever hung? Is that what I understood you to be trying to convey?
No, I mean, not necessarily that it wasn't. It just usually, if you find somebody that was hanging from a rope, the lividity would be in the hands and the feet.
Right, if they've been hanging for a while.
Correct.
Okay. Suppose you find somebody who had hung themselves 5 minutes ago, and you say, oh my God, I'm going to try and save that person, and you pull them down, render life-saving effort, and then 3 hours pass, and that body continues to lay on the ground while it's being worked on by first responders and then examined in the aftermath. Where would you expect the validity to be in that case?
If it was 5 minutes, most likely probably the posterior.
Okay, so on the back?
That's correct.
Because they've been laying for a few hours at that point?
That's correct.
Okay, which is what you found?
Correct.
What is your understanding of the scene when Miss King was discovered?
My understanding by the reporting parties or by law enforcement?
By reporting parties.
So my understanding from what I got through third-hand information was that she had locked herself in this shop, and she had not been seen for at least an hour, and that they went out and found her hanging, and that the defendant called for help, called his dad, and him and the defendant and his dad tried to get her down from that.
You mentioned that was sort of third-hand information to you. Did you ever interview Jared Norman and ask him what happened?
I did not. He was not present when I was there.
He was gone by the time you got there?
That's correct.
All right. How the day after, did you go sit down and ask him some questions?
I did not.
Did you ever seek to at any point interview him?
I did not.
Did you ever interview David Norman, his father?
I did.
Okay. When was that?
It was at the scene. He was still there. We talked. He came to the door while I was doing a physical exam on Mariah. Right after I had mentioned to law enforcement my concerns for the lack of any tension or any kind of stop or knot being in the ligature system, and he came to the door and told us that, oh wait, there was a knot in the rope. So at that time I told him that once we were done and had removed her body, that he could come in and try and show us how that knot was in the rope.
What time was the body removed?
Probably around just after, probably, I don't know, 4:15, 4:30.
So the body was laying on the ground there for, it sounds like, 5 or 6 hours?
That's correct.
All right. And then sometime after that, you had a conversation with David Norman, and he came in and you guys talked about the rope and all that?
That's correct.
All right, we'll get a break first. Colleen Kelley, one more time. This we're just talking here. That was a good back and forth with the defense attorney, bringing up the fact that, all right, let's say you see your loved one hanging and she's been up there for 5 minutes, pull her down. Now the lividity isn't necessarily in the extremities, it is in the back, and that's where it was in this case. It does seem as though this is not going to be a slam dunk at trial because it is so odd on so many levels.
Exactly, and this is the witness, remember, that's saying this is not consistent with a suicide, but the defense attorney also has just had him admit that it is consistent with Jared Norman's version of events, which is she was in there for about an hour. They finally got in there. They found her hanging, no way to tell how long she had been dead at that point, and they immediately took her down. The father says he undid the rope, and she's laying on the ground, and the lividity or the blood pooling is exactly where he would expect it to be in that version of events.